Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked, where I climb the online regulation C VGC ladder in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and provide live commentary as I go. In this video, I'm going to be trying out a really wild team featuring Life Orb Mixed Dondozo featuring Water Terra as well as Surf, in addition to Choice Band Terra Blast Grass Terra Drednaw. I actually went up against this team in the last round of the European International Championships in day one. The winner would advance on through the tournament and the loser would be eliminated, and I got absolutely destroyed by the team. I really just didn't know exactly what to fully expect from it and just really had no practice fighting against something like this. The original creator, Pablo, ended up finishing 34th out of over 770 players at EUIC and also qualified for the World Championships as a result. And I think this was easily one of, if not the most creative team from all of the top teams from EUIC. And so it was really fun to go up against, although obviously I wish I could have put in a better performance against it. But huge congratulations to Pablo for the great finish at EUIC, and congratulations to him for qualifying for Worlds as well. And so, as always, I'll do a quick breakdown of the team, but if you want to just skip to the battles, check out the timestamps down below. And thanks so much as always for joining me. If you enjoy, would really appreciate if you consider leaving a like on the video or subscribing to the channel, as we're so close to 200,000 subscribers. Anyway, really appreciate you all as always for joining me, and let's break down this team. First of all, a huge thank you to Pablo once again for building and sharing this team. I've linked his Twitter down in the description below, as well as a rental and a paste. And question of the day, I want to know what you're just generally thinking of Regulation C right now. Are you enjoying the format? Are you finding it a bit stale? Let me know down in the comment section below. Now, the first Pokemon to talk about on this team, of course, is Dondozo. This Dondozo is so unlike any of the other Dondozos running around in the format at the moment. It is designed to basically just maximize damage output through Surf. Now, as you can see, it's actually max speed Dondozo, and this in itself is not very common. It's hasty nature as well. So when I had went up against this team, part of my game plan was to get it to +1 speed after combining with Tatsugiri through Icy Wind, and then essentially use Haze from Palafin. My Palafin was basically EV to outspeed Adamant, max speed Dondozo at +1 speed boost, and so I had gone for Icy Wind, and then Dondozo ended up outspeeding my Palafin, and so it being max speed in itself was actually a really big deal when I had fought against this, because that's something that's just not very common on Dondozo. And so with max speed, you basically just outspeed more things that your opponents generally don't anticipate. Also helps, especially given that this team has like Tailwind to support it as well, and the idea is to just maximize your damage output. You've got Wave Crash and Surf, right? And so you're mainly clicking Surf the majority of the time with this Dondozo, I would say. Surf plus Water Terra plus Rain plus Life Orb plus you combining with Tatsugiri means that you are doing so much damage, especially to things that don't resist you. But even something like, a Terra'd Arcanine is taking over 50% from Surf, even if they've like Terra'd into Grass or Water, for example, right? That's just a benchmark for how much damage you can do. Wave Crash is really valuable just for picking things off for a single target, right? Even with no attack investment, it's still pretty significant damage. And what makes this set unique is it also has Sleep Talk. Part of the idea is that Dondozo Tatsu with this otherwise could be really weak into Amoonguss, but with Sleep Talk, you can at least still get some value even against Amoonguss, which I think is a really cool tech, right? And so, yeah, the main idea is to try to like find positions where you can just let Dondozo get multiple Surfs off with relatively low consequences. So one common lead with this team is just Pelipper Dondozo, set up the Rain immediately. With this, you can just pressure switching into Tatsugiri immediately. Tatsu here is a Choice Scar variant, very standard. Main thing to call out here is like you've got Helping Hand rather than like a fourth attack or Sleep Talk, which sometimes Tatsugiris run. And so the idea with Helping Hand here is to just further boost your damage output in the late game. There are often scenarios where Dondozo ends up fainting, and then Tatsugiri can use Helping Hand to boost like Drednaw or Pelipper's damage, for example. Pelipper is the next mon here. This is a Damp Rock Tailwind variant with Hurricane, Hydro Pump, Protect. The idea is that you just have max HP and max special attack investment, maximize your damage here. Pelipper being max special attack is honestly pretty significant because this thing can deal pretty good damage. And for example, against Dondozo, what's good against Water Terra? Well, Grass is one of those Terras, right? But Pelipper can use Hurricane to hit those Grass Terras for super effective damage, which is really cool. Damp Rock just to maximize your turns of Rain, which is really valuable for Dondozo, Tatsu, and Drednaw. Drednaw is the next mon to talk about here. This is Grass Terra with Choice Band, and the main idea is to leverage your same type attack bonus boosted attacks, Rock Fall and Waterfall, Rock Slide and Waterfall. Terra Blast is really good, though, to catch things off guard. For example, against opposing Water Terras, it's really valuable against opposing Water Pokemon in general, like Palafin. And then Earthquake here synergizes quite nicely with Pelipper and Dragonite, because, of course, they're immune to Earthquake. One thing to note about the Drednaw, by the way, I actually learned this from practice the hard way, is that you are admin, you're not Jolly, right? So even with Icy Wind support from Tatsugiri, for example, against Max Bleed Fluttermane and Max Speed Chien Pao, you actually still will be slower even after an Icy Wind, so keep that in mind. I had a game where I essentially lost because I clicked Icy Wind instead of Draco Meteor, trying to have this higher accuracy, and forgot about the fact Drednaw would be slower even at -1. And so just one speed tier thing to consider since Chien Pao is fairly common in the format. To round out the team, you've got Dragonite. It's a Lumberry set with Inner Focus here. I think the thing is that like multi-skills become so common on Dragonite, but you know, this team has so many physical attackers, Intimidate's quite annoying for it, and so Inner Focus is valuable against that as well as Fake Out. And this is normal Terra with extreme speed, so obviously it combines well with Chien Pao. You've got Ice Spinner, and then Thunder Punch as well. Thunder Punch is pretty rare on Dragonite, but it's really nice on this set because it gives you good coverage into opposing water types, and obviously with this team having Dondozo trying to deal a lot of damage, you want to cover for those things that are good against water types, right? Or you want to cover things that can be good into water types, and so that's where the Grass Terra Blast is really good, as well as Thunder Punch from Dragonite. Lumberry helps a ton against Amoonguss and Arcanine in particular. Finally, you've got Chien Pao. Nothing too wild about this one. You've got the classic Ice Spinner, Sucker Punch, Sacred Sword set. The one thing to call out here is you've got the Terra Ice, which allows you to deal more damage with Ice Spinner and also get rid of your Dark typing. So, yeah. Now, when I had gone up against this team, my opponent basically in one game had a Pelipper Dondozo mode as the lead with Tatsu and Chien Pao in the back, and another mode is just Pelipper plus Drednaw in the early game, and then you can really go Dragonite Chien Pao in the back, Dondozo Tatsu in the back. I think like those are the most common pairs, but you could theoretically mix it up like Tatsu if you want to spam Muddy Water in the rain plus one of Dragonite or Chien Pao, but yeah. To me, like that, those are some of the strongest modes. I think one interesting mode is actually Dondozo Drednaw with Pelipper Tatsu in the back, where then you can switch, like, for example, Dondozo immediately into Pelipper, set up the rain for Drednaw, or just Drednaw into Tatsu and then combine into Dondozo immediately. But Pelipper setting up the rain to boost Dondozo's water type damage obviously is going to be pretty crucial. So yeah, that's it for a quick breakdown. Let's quickly highlight some weaknesses. So in terms of weaknesses I run into, I think one thing about this Dondozo is that obviously it's only running water type attacks, right? Now, between the Water Terra, Life Orb, plus Pelipper and Tatsugiri, it stacks up really quickly. But I had one game, for example, where my opponent led Ting-Lu plus Amoonguss. It was Water Terra, Ting-Lu. So turn 1, I switched into Tatsugiri. They had just basically gone for Terra immediately. It was Assault Vest as well. And so I actually just wasn't doing that much, especially since Ting-Lu was dropping my special attack as well. And even though the Dondozo has Sleep Talk, like you still have to hit the right moves with Sleep Talk, right? And it's not guaranteed. And so that gave me some trouble immediately. So, you know, a good defensive Terra can help. A lot of defensive Terras actually won't be that valuable into this, but something as bulky as Ting-Lu plus like Assault Vest, for example, in particular, is a really good combo. Like a Resistance or a Terra into a Resistance plus AV in particular can be quite annoying. I think one other thing with this Dondozo is that it can't recover, right? There's no leftovers. And so one thing that's really big is that you often will be in scenarios where you knock out the Dondozo and you can immediately knock out Tatsugiri as well and just get a double knockout right from the get-go. And that's a really big deal because making sure Tatsugiri doesn't get any more attacks off, especially like rain boosted Muddy Waters, is honestly really crucial with this team. So that's one thing to consider. One thing to note here is that the Pelipper is really slow. So when I actually fought against this team, like I didn't consider that possibility. My opponent had set up Tailwind and I was like, oh, Pelipper is just going to outspeed Iron Bundle under Tailwind, but Pelipper has no speed investment here, so you can leverage that to your advantage. Also, it doesn't have a Focus Sash, so you know, Thunderbolt or Freeze Drive, for example, can just get a one-hit knockout onto this Pokemon. Now, a lot of the damage from this team is really aggressive, right? It's coming from things like Drednaw and Dondozo. Against Drednaw, I think it's often going to want to click Rock Slide, but, you know, for example, double protecting in front of it just to see if it commits its Terra or goes for a, you know, which move it locks itself into is really big. However, one thing to note is I actually tried to do that against my opponent, and my opponent led Pelipper Drednaw, like, and I had led, I think it was, like, my Iron Bundle plus Amoonguss, and, yeah, essentially, like, it was Iron Bundle plus Palafin. I double protected and then Pelipper just Tailwind, and that was a complete disaster for me. So yeah, keep that in mind. I actually think, like, I was thinking about how I could have improved my matchup against this team. I think Iron Bundle is actually really solid because it can Freeze Dry into Pelipper if Drednaw goes for Grass Terra, Freeze Dry super effective into it, Freeze Dry super effective into Dondozo as well. So a well-played Iron Bundle can be pretty scary, but that's the thing, right? Well-played is one big thing to know. And then when I had used it, I just like really lost the bundle pretty quickly. Wasn't really sure how to leverage it to the best of my ability. I think something like being able to control the weather is valuable. Like I had played against Murkrow in team preview in one game, and that was really scary because like it could, you know, sunny day, it could Tailwind, it could haze Dondozo as well. And I think, selected the Pokemon poorly in that one because I did just bring Dondozo. And like essentially it was like Murkrow plus bundle, and I was like, okay, I want to deal with both of these, but how do I actually like quickly knock out both? So that's one other thing to consider. And then consider like Dragonite. It does have good moves, right? But like it's not generally picking up one-hit knockouts, especially if you know the movesets. You can potentially leverage that to your advantage. The fact that it's inner focus over multi-skill means that it's a lot weaker to super effective attacks like Choice Specs, Flutter Mane, Moonblast, for example, right? So keep that in mind. So yeah, those are just a couple of things that I've run into personally that have given me some trouble. Naturally with Dondozo, obviously, like a Gastrodon can be a complete nightmare, although that's where like Terra Blast can come in handy, but yeah, keep that in mind. And against Dondozo, obviously, like Haze is still somewhat valuable, although it might be a little bit harder to execute. Okay. Oh my gosh. We've got Flamigo, Masquerain, Colossal Amoonguss, Flutter Mane, and Chien Pao. Okay. So I think the idea is Masquerain is going to enable Colossal, and then you simply bring out Flamigo, and then copy Colossal, and then go from there. Makes sense? The question I have here is the Colossal going to Terra? Because if it doesn't Terra, like I could just go Dondozo, honestly. Like I'm thinking leading Pelipper plus Dozo, Tatsu, and then Drednaw. Alright, let's try this out. I think the main thing is Colossal's not that scary if it doesn't have a weakness policy boost, right? And essentially, if you don't have your weakness policy boost, yeah, you can get Steam Engine activated still, but then you don't really do that much damage. So, yeah. And the idea is Pelipper sets up the rain, I just switch into Tatsugiri immediately, and start clicking Surf. So that is Colossal being led with Masquerain. Could be interesting to, like, Steel Terra Pelipper turn 1, Tailwind Protect Dozo. I actually think that's not the worst option here. I just don't really know what to expect from Colossal on turn 1, honestly. Like, do you Terra? Do you Terra Blast? Do you go for Rock Slide, for example? Yeah, honestly, I think Steel Terra, Tailwind into Protect here is not bad. It just means I can't Water Terra Dondozo. Let's scout out for what they want to do on turn 1. The main logic here is I think with Pelipper Terraring, it's very unlikely they knock out Pelipper. There's our Terra. Okay, Colossal does not Terra here, so what you going for? Okay, it just protects, that's fine. They go for Haze. Okay. As I get Tailwind up successfully. Honestly, that's a really cool play. Yeah, I can totally respect that. But now my opponent's in a pretty awkward spot. I'm pretty down to just switch in Tatsu now and Surf, honestly. The thing is, like, Pelipper's actually in a pretty good offensive spot as well here. I don't think I necessarily need to switch, actually. For example, like, I think just going for a Hurricane here and Wave Crash here seems okay. Just curious if Colossal ends up going for a Terra. I think it kind of has to. Let's see. Yeah, they're going to commit the Terra. Is it Grass? Oh, interesting. Okay. So you still keep your weakness policy by doing this. But do you knock out my Dondozo? Because if not, and I KO you in return, I feel like they're in really bad shape. Let's find out. It's just going to be Rock Slide. Okay, less than half on both. That was a crit on Dondozo too. We flinch. Okay. Sure. Alright, I'm gonna switch in Tatsugiri right now. And click Surf. Obviously a very frustrating double flinch. I think if the flinch does not happen on either Mon here, especially on the Dondozo, would be in incredible shape, but that's okay. Obviously here they could theoretically go for Protect into Haze. That'd be pretty scary, but that Rock Slide was a crit and it did less than half. So I'm actually not that concerned. And I also don't think they should expect Surf here. So get boosted up. Okay, that's Flamigo coming in, presumably. Ah, it's actually a Mungus. Oh, so it's going to be a Mungus and then Protect? Oh, no Protect. Okay. Well, how much does Surf do here? It's boosted in the rain. Goodbye, Colossal. And that's huge because it means now that the Flamigo can't copy any potential boosts. And Masquerain plus Amoonguss obviously is not much damage for my opponent. Leftovers on Amoonguss, okay. Now, one thing to note is that I am intimidated on the Dondozo. Like, it's relevant because, you know, if we weren't intimidated, I would think Wave Crash is definitely just a KO on Amoonguss. But we have Sleep Talk here, which is also pretty beautiful. So, Chien Pao comes out. Actually, with Chien Pao coming out, and me having Drednaw on the back, like, the defense is lowered right now, so I'm thinking of clicking Wave Crash into this. But, I mean, if they put me to sleep, honestly, I can just go for a Sleep Talk anyway. I'm down to Wave Crash Amoonguss. Nice. Because I would think they would want to Protect into Spore here. And even if I end up not getting this knockout, I can still just go for Sleep Talk anyway. Okay, Amoonguss goes down. My main question right now is where is the Focus Sash on their team? And Tailwind Peter's out, so Chien Pao can just go for like a Sacred Sword right now. Masquerain comes back out. But I think Drednaw is really well positioned in this endgame at this point, so click Surf here. I'm just going to give up Dondozo, essentially. Helping Hand makes sense. So we've seen Helping Hand, Aqua Jet, Haze. They just Sucker Punch. That's fine. Yeah, I mean, this works out really well, right? Because, like, they don't get any damage onto Tatsugiri. Tatsugiri gets ejected out. Now I get a free switch into Drednaw as well. So it's looking pretty solid. Okay. I'm mainly curious about what Masquerain's fourth move is here. Like, Waterfall from Drednaw is obviously looking really powerful. I'm just worried about, I don't know, like, let's say this protects, this goes for speed control. Personally don't mind, like, Muddy Water plus Waterfall here into Masquerain. Yep, perfect. So as long as we don't miss Muddy, this should be game over. Assuming they're Focus Sash, they might not be. Oh, okay, even better. Nice job, Drednaw. Nice. That went really as well as it could have, honestly. I thought it would have been interesting if they had Flamigo over Amoonguss, but yeah, Surf was what was huge here, right? Because we just were able to knock out Colossal so easily. So, Muddy again, and just Waterfall now into Chien Pao. Nice. But ultimately, I think what gave us a huge edge here was that we ended up having Rain plus Dondozo, right? Like, when I faced against this team, I just had never practiced against it. It's an archetype that really just I had never seen before. And so, it has really good coverage into a lot of things. And in the end, yeah, it's like, Amoonguss can take Surfs decently well. My Amoonguss ended up getting crit twice against the Dondozo, and so actually I think fainted to just 2 surfs, which was kind of wild even with the Citrus Berry. But essentially you saw like the Amoonguss fainted to a surf into a Wave Crash combo, right? And that's because like the rain is just so powerful, and with Chien Pao lowering my opponent's defense, I felt like I could leverage that to my advantage. So yeah, like I got, you know, the crit happened and the double flinch happened, but even then we were honestly still in okay shape. So it's one of the things about Pokemon, right? Sometimes you might get unlucky, you just have to try to play your best, and yeah, the reality is that like even with the Rock Slide crit, it didn't do that much damage. Like the damage output from the Colossal in the end honestly just felt pretty like mediocre. So yeah, I think Flamigo not coming out made this game a lot easier for me. Obviously my opponent tried to get me with the Haze on turn 1, but yeah, that's why I was thinking about the Steel Terra Tailwind play. I guess I wasn't thinking about Haze specifically. I was more just thinking, hey, like they don't really have too much counterplay to this option from me on turn 1. And Drednaw with this team in particular is really nice to close out games, especially when you've set up the rain early on with Pelipper with that Damp Rock. So yeah. Okay, we've got very standard Palafin balance here with Palafin, Amoonguss, Kingambit, Arcanine, Fluttermane, and Dragonite. Sometimes you'll see like Tinglu on those comps as well. So against this, we should expect certainly like Haze, for example, from Palafin. I would expect them to just lead Palafin immediately and then switch it out. Maybe like Palafin, Amoonguss. Grass Terra, Drednaw, solid. I think here I might like want to not go with the Dondozo Tatsu. And for example, go with like Dragonite plus Chien Pao lead, Drednaw plus Pelipper in the back. That feels pretty powerful to me. I think like honestly Surf Dozo is really solid. Like part of the strength of it is that like there is just really nothing that actually resists it. It's like, yeah, Palafin, Amoonguss, Dragonite resist it, but you're still taking if like the rain is set up and with Life Orb, especially if you throw Water Terra on top, like 40, 50%-ish or so. But yeah, I think the main thing here is I don't know if I actually have to respect Palafin that much, but the thing is I won't knock out it immediately, and if it gets a Haze off, that's kind of annoying. So the idea is to kind of disrupt early with Dragonite, and yeah, like I think Pelipper and Drednaw are just a really strong back two for us here. So it's going to be Amoonguss and Dragonite. Okay. Fine by me. Our Dragonite's super well positioned right now. I think turn 1 I'm down to Ice Spinner. I mean, like, basically, I don't want to play too passively because I do worry about this going for, like... I worry about this going for, like, a Tailwind or a Dragon Dance. So I'm going to Ice Spinner Protect turn 1. One of these two has to Terra, I think. Safest play is Terra, Amoonguss, Rage Powder. Okay. It's Water Terra. It's pretty solid against us. But I can Thunder Punch with Dragonite now, which is kind of cool. So here's Protect from Chien Pao. They go for Low Kick into us. Okay. Nice. We get a super effective Ice Spinner off into their Dragonite. Almost just knocks them out. And they try to Spore into Chien Pao. Beautiful. Okay, that worked out very well for us. I honestly kind of want to just go for like Thunder Punch, Sacred Sword. I guess my question is whether that's enough to get the KO. Let's find out. Even in the worst case in which they put us to sleep, I don't think it's that bad, honestly. Because Dragonite still has this Lumberry intact, right? So... And part of the goal right now is, I think, to chip away at everything enough where, like, Drednaw comes out and just clicks Rock Slide and finishes everything else off. Because in the back, they're going to have Arcanine, Fluttermane, Gambit. Dragonite switches, fine by me. And they did bring Palafin. What's interesting is they brought Palafin, but not in the front, right? And so... Here's Sacred Sword. Okay, good damage. Let's see if a super effective Thunder Punch finishes this off. Oh, that is so beautiful. And that's exactly why you run Thunder Punch on Dragonite, right? It really helps out against these opposing Water-type Pokemon. So helps out against Water Terra Amoonguss, helps out against like Palafin, for example. Fluttermane comes out. Okay. Are you booster energy? Yes, you are. I mean, honestly, here I don't mind a double protect this turn, I think. Actually, I will say one thing I'm a little bit worried about is, like, if Flutter could protect... I actually think we Ice Terra Chien Pao right now, because I don't think a Terra on either of these do that much for me. Yeah, so, like, just Thunder Punch into Palafin, Ice Terra, and then just Spinner. Because if we one-shot the Flutter main, I think we're looking really solid. They stay in here, okay. Curious if they just go for, like, double up onto the Chien Pao. Like Jet Punch plus Moonblast or Dazzling, for example. Oh, they target Dragonite instead. Okay, that should win me the game then, I think. Especially because I end up just moving first here as well. With Ice Terror, I think this should just be a KO unless you're super bulky. And they actually are super bulky. Wow. They Moonblast into Dragonite. Okay. Wow, bulky enough to survive. That's impressive. That is certainly impressive. I think I can just go into Drednaw, though. If I go into Pelipper, like, I'm making Jet Punch stronger, which is actually pretty concerning. Bring out Dread. Rock Slide. I mean, the thing is, like, Palafin really has to switch now, right? Switch Palafin, protect Flutter Mane feels like the only real play they can make. There's no way they're max speed on Flutter, that's for sure. I think there's a world in which maybe they protect Flutter Mane and actually Wave Crash as well. I'm actually going to try to... Because I think Flutter here should definitely protect. And if they don't, it's fine. I just get a double knockout here with Rock Slide. Yeah. Now is where the game gets really interesting, I think. I really thought Ice Terror, Ice Spinner would knock out Flutter. Like, you have to be very defensive to survive that attack. So... yeah, but that's not a major surprise. Like, Flutters are getting so bulky. There are people running, like, max HP, max defense Flutter Mane right now, you know, so it's not completely wild. Elephant comes back out, but they've committed their Terra, which is very crucial. Yeah, I'm happy to just Rock Slide and... I guess the question is, do I Sucker Punch here? Because I should be faster than Flutter Mane, so it might be better to Ice Spinner in case they try to go for a Protect. Yeah, I'll go for that. And then try to Sucker next turn. I just, like, given how much, given what I'm seeing about their defense investment. Oh, also, no, sorry, we obviously knew that based off booster energy earlier as well, right? Yeah, I should have just known that immediately. They do go for the double and get it. Okay, next turn becomes really interesting then. Okay, punch in a Chien Pao. Wonder if it was worth reading into the double there, just Sacred Sorting instead. Because I think you really basically have to go for it in that spot. Choice Band Rock Slide does just under half. I think we just go for Sucker Rock Slide here, because if you have to go for Protect. Yeah, they would need a triple Protect essentially to win, I think. Okay, and they just end up attacking. Cool. It got a little bit scary there, though, I will have to say. Yeah, they Jet Punch into Chien Pao. Just need to not miss Rock Slide now, but I don't think the... Palafin can win a 2v1 from this position, because I've got Pelipper in the back with Hurricane Pressure. And single target Rock Slide now. Nice. Actually gets a crit to just secure us the game immediately. So, yeah, I think the main thing in this matchup was recognizing that Dondozo just applies so much pressure in team preview. It more or less forced my opponent to like bring a lot of their Pokemon. Like Dragonite Amoonguss makes total sense to bring that into Dozo. Makes a lot of sense to have Palafin for Haze as well. And essentially the remainder of the team really covers for it, right? And so I didn't want to bring Dozo here because I was like, okay, Surf not really that good into a Amoonguss, Dragonite, and Palafin. Maybe if they don't have Haze, it's valuable. But Haze Palafin's obviously just such a problem. And I think this game really highlighted how good Thunder Punch in particular can be on Dragonite, which I thought was awesome. So yeah. Okay, we've got I've seen this team pop up a bunch recently. I wonder if it's a rental. So, Abomasnow, Rotom Frost, Tinglu Amoonguss Palafin, and Iron Bundle. It's kind of like a snow-oriented team. The version I had played against it was like, I think they led Tinglu Amoonguss, and they went Water Terra with the Tinglu immediately. So, like, Drednaw is interesting because it could just Grass Terra Terra Blast. Like, I'm thinking Chien Pao Drednaw, actually. Which isn't exactly a very common lead. Do I even bring Pelipper? Like, Grass Terra also makes a lot of sense here. I could just go Peli Dragonite in the back. I don't know, it's like they have so many resistances to Dozo here. I'm gonna bring it, though. It makes things more fun. It's not necessarily the right approach here, but I don't know. I think it could still be good. Like, the reality is Wave Crash Life Orb Dozo at +2 just does so much damage. But the idea behind Drednaw Chien Pao lead is if they go for, like, a Tinglu, I could just Grass Terra immediately. Yeah, Amoonguss Tinglu. So, we're about to do some fun stuff here. Grass Terra. Terra Blast into you. That covers for a Water Terra, and then just Protect here with Chien Pao, so I don't get Spored on turn 1. This also covers for Rage Powder from Amoonguss, so that's kind of the idea behind this lead. Get the defense dropped as well from the Chien Pao. If I had Dragonite plus Pelipper in the back, I'd still be really weak into Bundle, honestly. Bundle in general is pretty scary here, I would say. I don't know what Terra or what item it is on it. I think a well-played Bundle can give this team a lot of trouble. And that was one of the lessons I had learned when I had lost against this team at EUIC. Like, I was trying to think about how you could have improved my play, and I felt like I just didn't leverage Bundle nearly as well as I could have. I think it was actually incredible into this matchup. But they are going to go for the Water Terrors I mentioned, so yeah, this is definitely a team that's running around right now. Wonder if we can find the rental for it. But this was exactly the lead I was trying to cover for in the turn 1 I was trying to cover for. Alright, we get a Choice Band Grass Terra Terra Blast from Drednaw. Goodbye. Nice. Yeah, they Spore. Beautiful. Okay. Obviously, that was a great turn 1, but the game is still very far from over, especially now that I'm choice locked. So you could switch into, say, Bundle for free. And there it is. It's Booster Bundle. You committed your Terra, though. Like, I'm honestly down to just Terra Blast here. And Spinner, I think, into Amoonguss. Okay, they go for Encore. But that means you're getting hit by a Choice Band Terra Blast, so I honestly don't mind that. Like, I would think the Bundle just faints. Let's see. man. That is so satisfying. Oh. They try to heal themselves up, okay. I thought that play was a little ambitious, but I guess what they were going for was just, like, they're like, I'm so far behind, I'm just going to go all in on this, essentially. Which I can certainly respect. Anyway, now I'm honestly down to just double switch. Dozo here. Tatsu here. No, they actually just end up forfeiting. Okay. I mean, yeah, we definitely, I think we're in a really secure position because Chien Pao would be able to just Ice Spinner into a Mungus, you know, post-Encore. And I have Rock Slide as well. And the idea is so I can bring out Dondozo, Tatsu, just Surf for a little bit or Wave Crash. I would probably just start actually launching Wave Crashes into a Mungus to try to chip away that as much as possible because it can't heal with Regenerator given that I've knocked out the other two Pokemon. Whereas if I like click Surf, like I'm chipping away, but then a Bombasol can just get healed back up from a Pollen Puff. But yeah, I mean, that game was showcased the strength of Choice Band Drednaw with Terra Blast. And in particular, I think like, yeah, me taking advantage of having run against this team before. And so that's where, you know, if like, one of the ways you can beat common rental teams is really take advantage of Terra types, right? Like, I had literally played a practice game against that team. I had known it was Water Terra. My opponent led the exact same thing. And the first time around, I led, like, Dondozo plus something. Try to go with the Dozo Strap. Didn't work out. Now I'm like, okay, well, I know you're very likely Water Terra if it's that's the same team. I'm just going to go Drednaw. So, yeah, glad to showcase Drednaw there. What is this? That's so cool. Ursaring, which I honestly didn't even know was in the decks. Corviknight, Florges, Azumarill, Volcarona, and Glamora. Alright, I really have no idea what to expect here. I'm gonna go Pelipper plus Dozo. Dozo looks pretty solid here, no? In my opinion, Azumarill is probably one of the bigger concerns. So one way around it would be Grass Terra, Terra Blast. Honestly, Dragonite with Thunder Punch here in the back feels pretty solid into it. Thunder Punch is decent into Corv as well. Alright, let's try this out. That's a really cool team. My opponent was like ranked number 400s, or between 400 and 500 as well. So like, yeah, it's really cool to go up against a higher ranked opponent with a comp like this. That's fascinating. But my general goal here is to, yeah, just set up the rain early. I could just switch into, you know, Tatsu, Water Terra, and just start surfing. I think that's definitely one approach. But I'm really curious about Florges and Ursaring in particular here on my opponent's team, I have to say. So, yeah. Ursaring in general, excuse me, I just don't really know what to expect. Like, I honestly cannot remember the last time I fought against this Pokemon in VGC in particular. Florges, Volcarona. Huh. Could be Grass Terra. I'm honestly down to Tailwind and Protect turn 1. Bait out a Terra from either mon and then go from there. Because if, like, let's say Volcarona Grass Terras, and I could just Hurricane it next turn with Pelipper, right? It's one of the really nice synergies about this team. I think it was worth considering, I don't know, just switching into Tatsu immediately, Water Terra, and just start blasting attacks as well. But right now, Pelipper feels decently safe, especially with the HP investment, barring any really crazy surprises. So, yeah, they're going to Terra. So we bait that out early. That's good. I'm expecting Grass or Water Terra here. Nice. Good for Dragonite with Ice Spinner in the back as well. Okay. So protects. Cool. We just go for Giga Drain immediately. I'll take that happily. Nice. That's the beautiful thing about this lead. It applies so much pressure because your opponents really are scared of Dondozo, and I just get Tailwind up for free, which is excellent. With that, honestly, I was thinking of just going for Hurricane, like Water Terra here, and then just Surf. Dragonite in the back. Yeah, let's go for it. Like, I don't necessarily need Tatsu. And this is... We have max special attack investment on Pelipper as well, so it does really meaningful damage. Okay. Nice, no protects. Life Orb, Surf, Rain boosted, Dondozo. Chips away at Volk. We take our Life Orb. Now here's Hurricane onto Volcarona. Beautiful. Yeah, the idea there was to essentially like get the knockout onto Volcarona. If we Wave Crash, I take more damage and risk a burn from Flame Body as well, so I don't want to deal with that. Moonblast into Dondozo does less than half. Does get a special attack drop, so Surfing now is a little bit less reliable, but that's okay. And they bring out Glamora. Okay. I think I'm down to just switch into Tatsugiri here and just Wave Crash into Florges. Special attack drop was actually a little unfortunate. I think otherwise I'd probably feel a little bit more confident clicking Surf there. Maybe I still should have clicked Surf, quite frankly. I don't know. Glamora could Energy Ball me. That's for sure, but could also just click Spiky Shield here. Oh, wow. That's a first. That's interesting. Mirror Florges. And it protected. Wow. Did they double protect, though? Yeah, okay. That makes more sense. Scout out for what I'm going to do. Stall to turn a Tailwind. Pretty safe play. Fascinating. Another turn of Tailwind. I just click Wave Crash again. I think their best play is honestly to just go for a double protect right now. Hope you get it. But they don't go for it. Cool. So Nando's outspeeds. Mirror ends up being basically ineffective. It's going to faint. Cool. Okay. Energy Ball here. We'll just get the KO if you have it. But it's Power Gem. Maybe we survive this, actually, then. Nice. 3 HP. Tailwind Peter's out. Let's see what they bring out. It is Azumarill. Okay, so Azumarill could Aqua Jet here, right? Actually, I would have preferred to faint, then. Yeah, that's a little awkward. That is a little awkward. I guess they might not necessarily have Aqua Jets. I could protect here. I think it's better to just attack, though. We'll go for Surf. Yeah, they do have Aqua Jet. That's actually a little annoying, then. I would have preferred to have fainted. Because this means they get a free Sludge Bomb / Power Gem off into the Tatsu that's getting ejected out. Life Orb Azumarill. Wow, that's interesting. Okay. This is Helping Hand. I think I want to bring this out and actually go for Helping Hand Thunder Punch, because I really don't think they're going to see that coming. But the scary thing is beating Glamora now is actually a little difficult. My other question is whether or not Muddy Water plus Thunder Punch knocks out Azumarill. Basically, though, if I were my opponent, I would consider Spiky Shield here and knocking out Tatsugiri, right? So, like, the idea is, like, Helping Hand plus Thunder Punch is a really big surprise that they shouldn't expect. But yeah, like, this game actually became a lot harder because Dondozo didn't faint and they were able to get a free attack off. If Dondozo had fainted earlier, I would have just had Tatsugiri out with, like, Dragonite next to it immediately and wouldn't have taken damage. But there's the Spiky Shield as expected. Good. This is leveraging the surprise of Helping Hand, right? It's just such a rare attack. Azumarill does survive, though. Okay. That actually might cost me the game. Yeah, like they end up fainting from Life Orb, but essentially if I get that KO, I can just switch Tatsu out and back in and just start clicking Muddy Water, but now it's a 2v1, and it's actually a really awkward 2v1. Especially because the Pelipper here is really slow. I've committed my Terra. A big question here is, does Glimmora Power Gem Dragonite, right? Because I could obviously, like, Protect here. And the other question is, would I rather Spinner because it does slightly more Thunder Punch for the hope of Paralysis? It's like a pretty interesting debate, I think. I haven't revealed Protect on this yet. It's one of those where it's so obvious, I honestly kind of want to just click Hydro Pump. I'm down to go for it, especially because they don't know my ability here. Nah, they do end up just Power Gemming into Pelipper, though. Okay. But basically, the logic there was, like, I was thinking Protect here is so obvious on Pelipper. My opponent really doesn't want Dragonite to get too many free attacks off, right? So... I don't think 2 Ice Spinners into E-Speed even KOs here. So that's where Protect may have won me the game, because I would get an extra attack off, essentially. But, yeah. Go for Ice Spinner again into Extreme Speed. Do survive on 39. Yeah, like, my gamble there with Pelipper was the expectation that 2 Ice Spinners into Extreme Speed would get the KO, but I don't think we actually get that knockout, unfortunately. Yeah, this ended up being a little bulkier than expected. It was a really close game, though. Nicely played. Oh, man, what a close one. Like, if we... I don't know what the damage roll against that Azumarill was. I think I could have just contemplated switching out the Tatsugiri there. Switch out Tatsugiri, go into Pelipper, and just Thunder Punch there instead. But, yeah. Like, in my head, I thought if I just get the knockout onto Azumarill, we just win the game immediately. And so I was willing to take that gamble. But, yeah, in the end, I could have protected Pelipper there. Basically, once again, the logic was, from my opponent's POV, like, you feel like you're really far behind, and you're... I guess the thing is, it's Dragonite, like, it feints the 2 Power Gems anyway. But basically, if I protect with Pelipper there and they end up targeting Dragonite, I lose the game as well, right? And I think in a position like that, my opponent might feel a little bit more pressure to, like, make a prediction, because it's so obvious that I want to protect Pelipper there, right? So it's like, if they make the wrong move there immediately, I kind of just win. And yeah, like, I was thinking 2 Ice Spinners into Extreme Speed would get the knockout onto Glimmora, and it just fell short as well, right? So it's a gamble that I was willing to take in the end. But yeah, ultimately in this game, it's really back and forth, honestly. Like, I think maybe my Terra usage could have been a little bit better. I actually don't think I got that much mileage out of the Water Terra, and if I had normal Terra here on Dragonite, I definitely would have won the game. And if I had Steel Terra for Pelipper, I also would have won. I just wasn't sure, like, the scenario against Volcarona, like, what that looked like, and whether or not I needed that extra burst of damage with Surf to get the knockout onto it. But I think I could have just, like, not Terra'd and gone for Wave Crash plus Hurricane, get the KO there, and then close out the game with, like, Terra Dragonite. Now, granted, I obviously didn't know necessarily what mons my opponent had in the back, but yeah. Either way, though, that was a really fun one, and it was this close there in the end. Okay, 5 games here today, and we've got Ting-Lu, Gothitelle, Annihilate, Arcanine, Azumarill, and Amoonguss. Gothitelle is going to be a pretty big issue here. We can't switch out with any Pokemon, nor do we have Ghost Terras on anything. So essentially, whatever I lead should have a solid matchup into Gothitelle immediately. Oh, another Azumarill here, too. This is pretty scary. It's still interesting considering bringing Dozo Tatsu. I'm not completely opposed to Pelipper Dozo. If they lead Gothitelle, like, I can just Hydro Wave Crash, so it's not the end of the world. Tatsu in the back. I think I want Dragonite. Mainly for the Azumarill. Yeah, I honestly, like, Azumarill's not that meta right now. It's definitely gone up in usage in this format, mainly because of the fact that, it's really good into a lot of the Rune Mons, but yeah. Honestly, it's a really good matchup into so much of us, and the fact that Helping Hand Thunder Punch doesn't KO it is also not ideal. Azumarill Arcanine, okay. Honestly, against this, I'm kind of down to just go into Tatsu, Water Terra, and just start surfing. Because, like, Arcanine is probably going to think, like, oh, I'm going to Grass Terra, Will-O-Wisp you. Azumarill might be Assault Vested, but the idea is to just chip away at Azumarill enough where Thunder Punch can just finish it off from Dragonite. Because Tatsugiri plus Pelipper in the rain honestly do pretty significant damage in this endgame for me, just through Muddy Water and Hydro Pump. Probably could have double protected turn 1 to scout out for a Terra and then gone as well. I don't think I needed to actually push the tempo this quickly. But we'll see. Yeah, I think, like, basically the problem in this is Azumarill, right? And it's like, Chien Pao doesn't do much into it. Drednaw would be the answer, but their lead means that they would get it intimidated into Drednaw. And Drednaw honestly doesn't love taking, like, you know, a waterfall from Azumarill or liquidation in the rain. So there's the Terra, yep. But like I said, a Will-O-Wisp here doesn't really matter because we have Surf. Yeah, they're Water Terra. This is still going to pack a punch, right? It's Life Orb Rain boosted, +2 Dondozo. Let's see. Okay, Azumarill's not Assault Vest. That's good to know. That is really good to know. Okay, here we go. Surf in the rain. Oh my goodness. Yeah, and there's the burn. But like I mentioned, that's not really important. This is what I mean by there aren't really that many resistances to this, right? Like, we forced a Terra round that did 60%. That's so strong. We just click Surf again now. Arcanine protects, makes sense. If this Azumarill isn't Citrus and Surf just 2-hit knocks them out, they're in so much trouble, honestly. But basically, like, part of the way you beat this is, like, let the residual damage add up onto the Dondozo, right? Because it's like, Life Orb is pretty significant damage, and I'm taking burn damage right now as well. Oh my gosh. Are you Citrused? No Citrus, they're Perish Song. That makes a lot of sense. I actually should have seen that coming, I guess, from Team Preview, huh? Oh, Perish is actually really scary here, because I think essentially... Hold on, let me think this through. I click Surf this turn, I knock out Arcanine, Azumarill protects, then you bring out Gothitelle, you fake out, but then I still have one turn after that, and then Azumarill can't protect in front of that. I was thinking, do I ever intentionally, like, not attack here to bait, like, a protect? But I think I'll just click Surf. Okay, Azumarill protects. E-speed to finish, or not finish me off, but get some more chip on the way out. Makes sense. Yeah, so there's 2 turns of Perish left, right? So you can bring out Gothitelle to fake me out for one of those 2 turns, and then protect on the other. So then you have Gothitelle plus Azumarill out, but then I'll have... I have Tatsu, Peli, and the Dragonite. But yeah, Protect actually would have worked out well for me there, because then I would have just been able to Surf the next turn. I guess I was worried about, like, Arcanine just hard switching to Gothitelle there. Yeah, should be Fake Out now into oh! Fake Out, no, I was going to say double Protect, but then your Azumarill would faint from your own Perish, so then, like, the question is, do you contemplate switching that out, basically? Play rough, Perish, Protect. Makes sense. Okay, countdown to 1 for both of us. They've committed their Terra as well. None of their back really matches up too well into us. I'm going to click Surf again. Azumarill does commit the switch, okay. Into Ting-Lu, sure. Obviously, that's not going to love taking a Surf right now. Gothitelle protects, sure. I think the Surf just applied so much pressure early. Did so much damage. I wonder if this knocks out of their Assault Vest. I would honestly... Actually, I have no idea. I was going to guess no, but I don't know. It's like so many multipliers on the Dondozo right now. Yeah, it actually does not get the KO, but that's fine. Pretty sure then that's Assault Vested if it took it like that. Okay. Question is, do I want to go into Pelipper or Dragonite right now? This can just keep clicking Muddy Water. And we've got Thunder Punch on this. So I think Dragonite's okay. Click Muddy Water here. I don't want to reveal Thunder Punch, so I'm actually just going to Ice Spinner into Gothitelle right now. We've seen Fake Out and Protect, by the way, on Goth. Oh, Goth switches. Okay. I'm not sure that ever... Well, maybe Azumarill survives this. Let's see. We don't miss Muddy, which is huge. Yeah, I think Azumarill's too low at this point, and I have Extreme Speed, and even if you successfully Perish, it's... You actually can't win off Perish right now, because you have fewer Pokemon than me. But I don't know. I was thinking the only way my opponent could really pull something off is if Gothitelle had, like, Trick Room in that position. Goth comes back out, but... I will just click Muddy Water here. Yeah, we have Inner Focus, so they can't even flinch Dragonite right now. I'll just E-Speed. Not sure I see how they ever win this. Because, like, Perish would never win you the game if you click it right now. And you don't have enough damage with the Azumarill being... That's why it's like I was prioritizing all that damage onto the Azumarill, right? But, yeah, I mean, like, this is the perfect Dondozo game. When I say perfect, I guess, like, a perfect game would have been Dondozo sweeping everything. But, like, we did, like, 70% to Azumarill and Arcanine with Surf, right? And then knocked out the Arcanine as well. So... yeah, like, their team is a little bit more slow pace, and the Surf was just so overwhelming. I think the key thing for us here is that my opponent did not lead with the Gothitelle, so it allowed me to just immediately switch on. That's part of the reason why I led Pelipper plus Dozo, because I figured it's like, what lead combo can you have that really threatens me, right? Because it's like, yeah, if you lead Gothitelle, well, I can just Hydro plus, like, go for Wave Crash onto you anyway, and, like, Life Orb Wave Crash, Water Terra, even if I'm not... combined with Tatsu, still does so much damage into the Gothitelle. So that was kind of the logic. But yeah, really happy to feature all the different components with this team. Like Drednaw had some amazing, or had that one really amazing game in particular. Dondozo Tatsu came out a bunch. Chien Pao and Dragonite was really essential in that one game where we dropped Dondozo Tatsu completely as well. So yeah. This team is a lot of fun. Honestly, it's like I'm so sad that I had to, you know, play against it in the last round of EUIC because I was so prepared for like all the balanced teams, and then this just came out of nowhere and totally destroyed me. And it's just a really well constructed team, so huge shout outs to Pablo for building and sharing it, and it's just really fun to play as well. So hopefully your eyes have now been opened to the strength of this mixed Surf Dondozo with Life Orb. So thank you so much as always for watching. Leave a like if you enjoy, and I'll see you all next time. All right, peace.